Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my September book haul. So we got a bit of false hope with how small August's book haul was compared to the rest, because the size of this stack is quite something. I'm going to add up the number of books here and put it on the screen for you because I don't know right at this moment, but I think it's over 30. And yeah, there are a lot of gifts here. I was so grateful for the gifts this month. Not like normal, the biggest stack is books I bought myself and I paid full price for, which doesn't normally happen. As a lot of you may know, September was quite an emotional month for me, with me not knowing whether I'd be able to go and see my boyfriend or not. It turns out I was not able to, so we're now creeping up on 18 months without seeing each other, and how I filled that emotional void was books. So I feel like that's a good idea, but many people may not. I'm going to go through books I were sent by publishers, books I got from BOOKSWAP, books I got from charity shops, books I paid full price for, whether that be on offer but from like an actual bookshop, not a charity shop, and then the lovely gifts from you guys. So let's hop into it. The first book I have from a publisher was from the team at Harper 360. They sent me This Is Why We Lie by Gabriella Lepore. I don't know too much about this one, but obviously I must have requested it. But it says for fans of Riverdale, Holly Jackson and Karen M. McManus. Sounds up my alley because I do love Riverdale. But this says, when Jenna Dallas and Adam Cole find Colleen O'Dowd's body floating off the shore of their coastal town, the community of Gardeners Bay is shaken. But even more shocking is the fact that her drowning was no accident. Once Jenna's best friend becomes a key suspect, Jenna starts to look for answers on her own. As she uncovers scandals inside Preston Prep School leading back to Rookwood Reform School, she knows she needs Adam on her side. As a student at Rookwood, Adam is used to getting judgmental looks, but now his friends are being investigated by the police. Adam will do whatever he can to keep them safe, even if that means trusting Jenna. As lies unravel, the truth starts to blur. Only one thing is certain, somebody must take the fall. So this came out on September the 21st, so I haven't read it in time for its release, but it didn't arrive that much before that, and I just genuinely didn't have space in my September TBR. My October one is looking pretty tight, but I'm going to try my absolute best to squeeze this one in, so you should see this in a TBR or a wrap-up pretty soon. The next book I have is from Tor UK through Black Crow PR, so thank you very much to both of you lovely teams. It is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I'm really worried to read this one because this week I did DNF Under the Whispering Door, TJ Klune's latest book, and I'm really hoping it was to do with the poor formatting of the e-arc of that and the fact my NetGalley Shelf app wouldn't work, but I was just so bored I didn't want to pick it up, so I DNF'd it. And I would consider reading it if I had a physical copy, but I've been sent The House in the Cerulean Sea. I feel like everybody knows what this is about. I don't, because everyone says in videos, everyone knows what this is about. But I personally don't, and I'm going to stay that way. I want to go into this one pretty like without any preconceptions. I am really worried because I know that everybody loves this book and I would like to be in camp. Everybody loves this book, so yeah, we will see. But thank you very much to Black Crow PR for getting me a copy of this book. Next we have the books I got from BOOKSWAP this month, and there are only 5, can we believe it? The first one is Columbine by Dave Cullen. I didn't think this book was going to be quite so big, so I am quite daunted by it, but this is a non-fiction about the Columbine school shooting, and Dave Cullen was one of the first reporters on the scene of the shooting back in 1999. Couldn't remember what year it was. People don't really know this about me, but I had a very niche interest in American school shootings because I did my extended project at college on that. If you don't know what that is, here in the UK you can do it at sixth form, so when you're like 17, 18, and if you've read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, that is what the main character is doing, her extended project. I did one of those and I did it on American school shootings because why not? So I feel like I know quite a lot about Columbine already, but there's no way I know this much, so I feel like this is going to be very informative. Next we have Every Line of You by Naomi Gibson. I felt like I'd never heard of this book and the synopsis sounded really interesting, but every time I go in a bookshop now I see it, and it did come out this year, so I think I just got a really good deal on BOOKSWAP. But this says, he started as a single line of code. 3 years on, I named him Henry. So this is about our main character, who doesn't have a name on the back, who has built Henry as some form of AI or something, and she falls in love with it. I don't know, it's pretty short. I feel like this one is going to be an easy read and a good time. Next we have Leave the World Behind by Ruman Alam. And I had seen a lot of people buying this, but I didn't see many reviews. So when I saw it on BookSwap, I just decided to give it a go. This is about Amanda and Clay, who were enjoying a taste of the good life when Ruth and GH, an older couple who claim to own the remote holiday home they're staying in, arrive seeking shelter. These strangers say that a power outage has swept the city, but with no phone service and the internet down, the facts are unknowable. What has happened back in New York? Is the holiday home a truly safe place for their families? And are they safe from one another? Very short, sounds creepy, want to give it a go. Next we have an accidental non-fiction purchase, and that is The Anthropocene, reviewed by John Green. I got too excited. I knew John Green had another book out that I hadn't read, and I saw it on BookSwap and grabbed it instantly without doing any research. So everybody, please do your research, because this says Essays on a Human-Centered Planet. I'm not a massive non-fiction fan if it's not in the true crime world, so I was a bit daunted when I actually received this, but I've recently found the audiobook on my library app, which I currently have out, so you will probably see me reading this in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And the last one from BookSwap, which was an absolute steal of a deal, I got 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This is the most daunting book I own. I think it's a very heavy fantasy, but oh my god, it is just gorgeous, so I couldn't leave it. I have already scheduled a buddy read with Claire over at Books and Ink because we both own this book and we're both too scared to read it, but we bought into the hype, so looks like I'll be doing that. Okay, on to the books I bought from charity shops. First of all, I have 13 by Steve Kavanagh. I'd seen this in charity shops a lot and just completely ignored it, but it's been getting quite a lot of hype on BookTube lately, and it is the serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury. And that's all I want to know about it. It doesn't tell you much more from the back, apart from the murder trial of the century is here. A serial killer on the jury, and I love reading from the perspective of serial killers. An example I can think of is The One by John Mars. Amazing, loved that point of view, so yeah, quite excited for this one. And on that same vein, don't know what this was, I got 50/50 by Steve Kavanagh. I got this on a separate trip. I was talking about owning 13 on my reading sprints, and somebody said 13 and 50/50 were their favourites, so I went into another charity shop and saw this one for £1, so grabbed it too. This says 2 sisters on trial for murder. They accuse each other. Who do you believe? So that sounds really, really good. With these thrillers, they are pretty short. I mean, they don't really look it on camera. They're both less than 350 pages, which I am appreciative of. And yeah, they seem like very quick things to get through. Different vein to that, not quick things to get through, I found The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, which is the first book in the Chaos Walking series. It is in perfect condition, and when Rachel came to stay, I saw book 3 in this series in a charity shop and said, oh damn it, if that was book number 1, I'd buy it. So then I went into a different charity shop by myself a couple days after and found this one for £1 in perfect condition, so I bought it. I don't know anything about it, and I'm just going to go in knowing nothing. I know this is one of Emily's favourite books of all time because she absolutely loves Patrick Ness. So yeah, looks like I own this and will have to read it at some point. Then a Christmas book I've decided to get my hands on, so I now have 3 Christmas books to get to this December. I have One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is an adult romance is all I know. Rachel found it for me in the charity shop, so I now own it. This says, Laurie is pretty sure love at first sight doesn't exist. After all, life isn't a scene from the movies, is it? But then, through a misted up bus window one snowy December day, she sees a man who she knows instantly is the one. Their eyes meet, there's a moment of pure magic, and then her bus drives away. Laurie thinks she'll never see the boy from the bus again, but at their Christmas party a year later, her best friend Sarah introduces her to the love of her life, who is, of course, the boy from the bus. I think I'm going to try and get to my Christmas books the first couple of weeks of December. As I said, there's only 3 of them, but I seem to collect festive books and then don't get to them, so I'm going to read those at the start of the month, and then I'll be pretty much living off my Kindle when I go to see Cole, so this will be read this December. Next we have Body Language by A.K. Turner, and this just sounded really, really interesting to me. I'm going to read you the back because that's all it needed to get me. This says, Cassie Raven believes the dead can talk, we just need to listen. People think being a mortuary technician is a seriously weird job. They can't understand why I choose to cut up dead bodies for a living, but they don't know what I know. The dead want to tell us what happened to them. I've eviscerated thousands of bodies, but never someone I knew before, someone who meant a lot to me, someone I loved. The pathologist says that her death was an accident. Her body is telling me differently. and it just sounds absolutely amazing. The cover is really creepy, it's in perfect condition, so when I saw this in the charity shop I couldn't leave it. Next, on the same kind of, I don't want to keep saying on the same vein, but it is all on the same vein, I don't even know where I've got that saying from. This is The Beautiful Dead by Belinda Bauer, which says he might kill her, she might let him. I read Rubbernecker by Belinda Bauer and did really enjoy it. I read that quite a few years ago now, and I feel like my reading taste has definitely evolved, and this might be more my thing than it was back then. This says, Eve Singer makes her living from death. As a TV crime reporter, she'll go to any length to get the latest scoop. But when a twisted serial killer starts using her to gain the publicity he craves, Eve must decide how far she's willing to go and how close she'll let him get. So as I just said, I love reading from serial killers. I don't know whether the serial killer is going to have its own point of view in this, but I just think that sounds really interesting. Next, a book I had never ever seen before and now is popping up everywhere is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I don't know what encouraged me to pick up this book. I'm just checking when it was published. Okay, this was published in 2002 and I had not seen it big everywhere until this week. Donna Tartt wrote The Secret History, which I still haven't read, and The Goldfinch, which I don't plan on reading, but I saw this book and thought it looked insanely creepy, so wanted to give it a go. All I know about this is we have 12-year-old Harriet, who's struggling a little bit. Her mum is permanently on medication. Father has silently moved to another city. Her serene sister rarely notices anything. All of them are still suffering from the shocking and mysterious death of her brother Robin 12 years earlier. What starts out as a child's game soon becomes a dark and dangerous journey into the menacing underworld of a small Mississippi town. It sounded weird. I'm not too daunted by it, I don't know why. The text is tiny on the pages. One day. I also just kind of wanted this on my shelves. And the final one I picked up is Horns by Joe Hill. I have seen the movie for this with Daniel Radcliffe, but I saw it in a charity shop and thought I may as well. This says, once Ig lived the life of the blessed. Born into privilege, he had security and wealth and a place in his community. Ig had it all, and more. He had the love of Marion Williams, a love founded on shared daydreams, mutual daring, and unlikely midsummer magic. Then beautiful, vivacious Marion was gone, raped and murdered under inexplicable circumstances, and Ig was the only suspect. He was never tried for the crime, but in the court of public opinion, he was and would always be guilty. But now Ig can hear people's deepest, darkest secrets, and means to use this ability to find whoever killed Marion. It's time for a little revenge. It's time the devil had his due. All I can think of is Daniel Radcliffe with horns. I don't remember the film at all, just that he had horns. Sounds cool. Right, we are 15 minutes into filming already and I still have all the books I bought myself full price and the gifts. I need to rearrange myself, so I'm gonna pause this and come back. Okay, sorry if I've moved ever so slightly. I had to rearrange myself to be able to access the books. Okay, so now we have the books I bought myself, and the first ones I'm gonna talk you through were 3 for £5 from the Works. I can never resist that deal if I find 3 books I want. The first one here is Friends and Strangers by J. Courtney Sullivan. This gave me normal people, conversations with friends vibes, so I wanted to get it. It is about Elizabeth, who is an accomplished journalist and new mother, struggling to adjust to life in a small town after nearly 20 years in New York City. Alone in the house with her infant son all day, she feels uneasy, adrift. She neglects her work, losing untold hours to her Brooklyn Moms Facebook group, her influencer sister's Instagram feed, and text messages with the best friend she never sees anymore. Enter Sam, a senior at the local women's college, whom Elizabeth hires to babysit. She's worried about student loan debt and what the future holds. In short order, they grow close, but when Sam finds an unlikely kindred spirit in Elizabeth's father-in-law, the true differences between the women's lives are starkly revealed and a betrayal has devastating consequences. So yeah, just sounds like an easy time. Next we have Big Summer by Jennifer Viner, I'm going to say. And again, same sort of thing, sounded like those sorts of books. 6 years after the fight that ended their friendship, Daphne Berg is shocked when Drew Kavanagh walks back into her life, looking as lovely and successful as ever. Daphne hasn't spoken one word to Drew in all this time. She doesn't even hate follow her ex-best friend on social media, so when Drew asks if she'll be her maid of honour at the society wedding of the summer, Daphne is rightly speechless. I don't know where I was because the post came, so okay, we're going to say we finished talking about Big Summer. And the last book I got in the 3 for £5 is To Love and to Loathe by Martha Waters, which to me just sounds like a Pride and Prejudice retelling with smut. So that's all I'm going to go with for now. Sounds like a good time. Then I did get a few books on a buy one get one half price thing in Waterstones. On one trip I got Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, which is Bridget's latest release. So I've read all of her contemporary books, all of the Cursebreaker series, which is kind of, I want to say, a lighter fantasy because we start off in New York City and then go into a fantasy world. So our main characters know everything about normal life, whereas this one is completely set up in a fantasy world. And I am quite impressed with how Bridget has seemed to move between the genres. So going a bit deeper into fantasy, I'm not too worried, but it's also just like a step out of my comfort zone as well. But I do really, really love this author. Then I got a book that I have read before, but I really wanted to own a copy one day, and when it was in the buy one get one half price, I just thought I would, and that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, which I'm matching. This book, I listened to the audiobook and I absolutely fell in love with it. It broke my heart, and I always said that one day I would pick it up. This is about two characters, Mateo and Rufus, in a society where there is death cast, which lets you know on the day that you're going to die that you're going to die. There is an app called Last Friend, which can match up people living their final day who want some company. So yeah, we meet Mateo and Rufus. It says they both die at the end, and it's heartbreaking. Next, I kind of have some shame for this one. I have As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. I have not read any of this series, and I own all three of the main books and the World Book Day book. So I'm thinking of doing a binge vlog where I just read all of them like in a week or something. So we will see how that goes. But yeah, I can't tell you anything about this apart from it's the third book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. And the final buy one, get one half price, I got Fear Street by R.L. Stine. This is getting a bit of hype lately because of the films appearing on Netflix, and I saw this on one of Gav's vlogs and just decided that I had to have it, even though Gav didn't really like it that much. But big chunky binder of scary stories, which now will probably be left until next spooky season. I don't see myself fitting it in this year, but it looks creepy. It was a good deal, what can I say? Then I went to the cutest bookshop in Hay on Wye, that was all true crime, horror. It was amazing. But I got Past Mortems by Carla Valentine, which I've been calling Postmortems every time I pick it up. And this says Life and Death Behind Mortuary Doors. A day in the life of Carla Valentine, curator, pathology technician and death professional, is not your average day. She spent 10 years training and working as an anatomical pathology technologist, where the mortuary slab was her desk and the day's corpses her task list. Past Mortems tells Carla's stories of those years, as well as investigating the body alongside our attitudes towards death, shedding light on what the living can learn from the dead and the toll the work can take on the living souls who carry it out. Sounds really interesting, and the hand kind of matches my book club logo. Now the book I bought on my trip with Victoria, I got Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I only know about this book really because of Rachel. She really loves it, so I decided I needed to give it a go. And this is about people being shown an upmarket apartment by estate agents when an incompetent bank robber rushes in and politely takes everyone hostage. I don't know any more than that. It sounds like a good time, and yeah, I just like buying books when I meet up with bookish people because I can remember, oh, I bought this book on my trip with them. So I have my receipt. This is what I bought on my trip with Victoria. And a pre-order this month that caused a lot of hassle, and I ended up just buying it from a shop, and I'm still waiting on my refund from Blackwell's. Not happy. I have Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, which I ended up getting from Forbidden Planet. Again, got the receipt, and I had a lovely chat with the guy serving me about how amazing this is. Every time you mention this book, somebody will tell you how great it is. It is an absolute whopper, and if somehow you've been living under a rock, this is the new vampire book written by J. Kristoff. Oh my god, why did I even say that? And I don't know much about it. The Holy Grail is included. There are illustrations. The cover is gorgeous, and one day I need to sit down and crack on with this. Right, sorry if any angles have changed. My camera battery decided to die just as I hit the gift portion of this video, so I've given it a bit of a blast. We're gonna finish the gifts and then I'm gonna wrap up this video because I have been talking for a while. So the first gift I want to talk about is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, which was given to me by Lydia, so thank you very much, Lydia. This is a adult thriller. I always like to call them domestic thrillers, I don't know whether that's actually a thing, which is about Teddy, who has won Teacher of the Year. He says his wife couldn't be more proud, though no one has seen her in a while. He's deeply committed to improving his students and well aware which ones need improving, and all he wants is for his colleagues and the endlessly interfering parents to stay out of his way. Sounds really, really weird. I will say with the gifts, obviously I'm so grateful, but I cry in my vlogs, so I'm past emotion at this point. So thank you so much, Lydia. If you'd like to see me more emotional, I know you did watch the week where I unboxed this, but yeah, in the vlogs I cry about these a little bit more. So if I seem like I am showing no emotion, it's because the emotion has run out. But Lydia, thank you so much for this one, and matches my top. The next gift we have here is from the lovely Victoria, who sent me Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I did cry when receiving this one because Victoria is such an absolute sweetheart. She's seen me looking at this quite a lot when we were shopping together, when we met up, and she decided she had to buy me this book. So thank you so much, Victoria. I know literally nothing about the story of this one, just that I've read both Normal People and Conversations with Friends and enjoyed them, so wanted to get Sally Rooney's newest book, and it looked cool. I own it now. Next we have a gift from the lovely Mal, from a book fiend named Mal, who sent me Middle Game by Shauna Maguire, which I'm still blown away by. This book was on my wish list more for my own purposes of tracking the price, and Mal bought it for me, so I'm still absolutely gobsmacked. I know nothing about this. I know it's weird. I wanted weird. So yeah, I have this one now, and I don't even want to look more into it than telling you it's weird, because that's all I want to go in knowing. So Middle Game. Thank you, Mel. Next we have a present from the lovely Liam, who sent me The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. This is a book that I'm so grateful to own because it's one that one of you lovely people mentioned in reading sprints that you were reading, and it sounded good, so I put it on my own wish list. All it says on the back is, a teenage girl is held captive and brutally tortured by neighbourhood children. Based on a true story, the shocking novel reveals the depravity of which we're all capable. And that's all it tells us. So I am 100% on board. Next we have a gift from the lovely Emily at Emily Kathleen Reads, who sent me Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. I not long read Geekerella, which is the first book in this like companion series based on Cinderella. So obviously Bookish and the Beast is based on Beauty and the Beast, and they're just nerdy fairy tale retellings. I don't know what more to tell you than that, but I seem to really be loving the orange theme today. It's the Once Upon a Con series, that is it, because they go to ExcelsiorCon, which is like Comic-Con. Nothing more to say on this one. Thank you, Emily. Next we have a gift from the lovely Rosie, who sent me Sweet Sorrow by David Nichols. This is one that was not on my radar. Rosie just absolutely loved it, and I had to read it because Rosie loved it. So she put it in my hands. I own it. This is, it's summer 1997 and Charlie Lewis is stuck. School is over, his family is breaking up, his father is falling apart, and the long empty holidays stretch ahead towards an uncertain future. And then, quite by chance, Charlie meets Fran Fisher, and it's as if a new world has opened before him. But can it last? 20 years later, Charlie tells the story. Again, I'm getting like the Normal People, Conversations with Friends vibes, and I'm here for it. And then, last but not least, we have two presents from the lovely Claire at Books and Ink. The first one she sent me is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour, which I have heard people talk about and absolutely love, and apparently it's really, really quick to get through. I have not read the back of this, ever. So we're going to do it now. This says, Mila is used to being alone. Maybe that's why she said yes. Yes to a second chance in this remote place, among the flowers and the fog and the crash of waves from below. But she hadn't known about the ghosts. Newly graduated from high school, Mila has aged out of the foster care system. So when she's offered a teaching job and a place to live on an isolated part of the Northern California coast, she immediately accepts. Maybe she will finally find a new home, a real home. The farm is a refuge, but it's also haunted by the past. And Mila's own memories are starting to rise to the surface. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and that's all I know from reading that, but I just know people love it, and then it's a little bit weird, and I like weird. And the second book that Claire got me is The Lockin by Phoebe Luckhurst, which is this absolutely gorgeous hardback edition. I think it's so cool, and this is about a group of people who get stuck in an attic as their home is flooding, and that is really all that anyone tells you about this book, so that's all I'm going to tell you about this book too. But it does look like a very easy read. The text is massive on the pages, and I feel like I'm going to prioritise this one because it just sounds like such a comfort read. But there we are. That is my massive September book haul. What I'm going to say right now, you guys need to hold me to it. For October and November, I am on a book buying ban. The only exceptions to that is going to be BOOKSWAP, because I've already ordered a book from there and two people ordered books from me this morning. So I mean, I like using the credits. So you shouldn't have big hauls for October and November. I'm still going to do them because I think it's a really good record for me to be like 40 plus books and then 5 books. Like, that is going to be pretty cool to have. But I feel like Christmas is going to be pretty mega this year, and my birthday is in January, so October, November, I'm going to chill out. I did have to do an unhaul last night because I looked at this book haul and felt physically sick at the amount of books on my shelves. So I got rid of some books on my TBR I'm never going to read, and I got rid of some red books. This was quite the haul. So that is all I have time for today. Let me know if you've read any of these books and absolutely love them and that I need to prioritise them. Please do let me know. But yeah, on that note, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.